Today, in the media conference with Lal Goyal, which is brought to you by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, News Gaon Se, Malnadu TV, Samvad Sarocar News, as well as Organ Donation India Foundation and Gyan. Our endeavor is to enlighten you with the current topic. And today's topic is COVID returns impact on single parent. First of all, I would like to inform you that our endeavor is to enlighten you, to create awareness, not to create fear. But one has to understand the reality. The COVID is returning back. So we have to take full precautions, whatsoever the guidelines and protocols issued by the government, central as well as state government. So the topic is COVID returns impact on single parent. Being a single mother is twice the work, twice the stress, and twice the tears, but also twice the hugs, twice the love, and twice the pride. A single parent is a person who lives with a child or children and who does not have a spouse or live-in partner. Reasons for becoming a single parent includes divorce, breakup, abandonment, death of the other parent, childbirth by a single person or single person adoption. A single parent family is a family with children that is headed by a single parent. Single parenthood has been common historically due to parental mortality rate due to diseases, wars, homicides, work accidents, and maternal mortality. Historical estimates indicate that in French, English, or Spanish villages in the 17th or 18th centuries, at least one-third of children lost one of their parents during childhood. In 19th century Milan, about half of all children lost at least one parent by age 20. In 19th century China, almost one-third of boys had lost one parent or both by the age of 15. Such single parenthood was often short in duration since remarriage rates were high. Divorce was generally rare historically, although this depends by culture and era, and divorce especially became very difficult to obtain after the fall of Roman Empire in medieval Europe due to strong involvement of church courts in family life through annulment, and other forms of separation were more common. Among all households in OECD countries in 2011, the proportion of single-parent households was in 3 to 11% the range, with an average of 7.5%. It was highest in Australia 10%, Canada 10%, Mexico 10%, United States 10%, Lithuania 10%, Costa Rica 11%, Latvia 11%, and New Zealand 11%. While it was lowest in Japan 3%, Greece 4%, Switzerland 4%, Bulgaria 5%, Croatia 5%, Germany 5%, Italy 5%, and Cyprus 5%. The proportion was 9% in both Ireland and the United Kingdom. A 2019 report by UN Women says that in India, 4.5% of all the households are run by single mothers. That is 130 lakh women. Another estimates 320 lakh single mothers are living in extended families. With a whopping 450 lakh women living as single parents, it is safe to say that family is not what we think it looks like. Another 32 million, that is 320 lakhs, are estimated to be living in extended households. The global report, Progress of the World's Women 2019-2020, analyzes how diverse family structures are impacting women and their choices. In India, 46.7% of families are couples living with their children, over 31% living in extended families, while single-person families account for 12.5%. Globally, it turns out that over 8 of every 10 lone parent households are headed by women, 84.3%. Based on data from 89 countries, this translates to 101.3 million households where lone mothers live alone with their children. Many other single mothers live with their children in extended households. So how do single mother households work? Are there any specific challenges that come with it? What kind of changes should we expect from the existing structure that still see family as a couple? While not all single mothers necessarily experience blatant discrimination, some instances can be painful. Because marriage and family are so rigidly defined in a society such as ours, single mothers tend to fall into a social blind spot. One of the biggest challenges of being a single mother is not having another parent to fall back on in times of need, but they navigate this with the unwavering support of their friends and family. In India, the poverty rate of lone mother households are 30% in comparison to 22.6% for dual parent households. Marriage and motherhood affects women's labor force participation and income. In India, based on data from 2012, 29.1% of all women aged 25 to 54 years are in the labor force, compared to 97.8% for men of the same age. The report also draws attention to the needs of the growing elderly population. Women on average live longer than men in all regions and countries. At the global level, men's life expectancy is projected to be lower than that of women by 4.6 years during 2015 to 2020, it said, pointing out the need to focus on senior women. The report offers many solutions like family-friendly policies, including cash transfers, healthcare, and care services for children and older people. Ms. Anita Bhatia, Deputy Executive Director, UN Women, said, I quote, while some progress is evident within the Asia-Pacific region, women and girls continues to be discriminated against and their contributions undervalued. Governments must review their commitment to gender equality by identifying clear priorities and actions with set timelines and resources in line with 2030 agenda and sustainable development goals, unquote. When the lockdown was announced, single parents doing twice the work with half the assistance saw their key support systems collapse, schools, daycares, and the community. Though the pandemic, they have endured mental health struggles with grit and discovered fresh perspectives on parenting. It's hard to fathom the magnitude of challenges that single mothers face every day in India. So much so that they often seek help from mental health professionals. Changing times and the exposure that kids get these days due to the internet and smartphones make life harder for single mothers. They are often tensed about the right ways of bringing up their kids. They tend to overcompensate for the absent parent and overdo in terms of material things and discipline. Catering to kids these days is difficult because the demand for electronic gadgets has soared, the education system has changed, and kids are exposed to outside influences. So single mothers are overwhelmed and feel the responsibility a bit too much. Coronavirus and the social distancing that's required to keep families healthy during the pandemic may be putting added strain on the singles as access to their support systems diminishes. And why the fact that COVID returns? On 2nd April, that is yesterday, 2nd April 2021, after India's registered 89,019 new cases of coronavirus and 713 deaths, which has taken the country's cumulative tally past 12.39 million and the death toll to 1,64,141. So the condition in India is bad because the corona or the COVID is coming back and returns with full strength. And how to cope up with that, and especially the impact on single parent, we have a very elite panel with us from the diverse fields. They are literate, educated, experienced, and they are authority in their own field. So I would like to invite my first guest, and she is Advocate Anita Mahapatra. Advocate Anita Mahapatra is a renowned lawyer practicing in Delhi High Court, Supreme Court of India, and also all district courts in Delhi and NCR. She is a single parent, a passionate runner, a theater actor, and a fitness freak. She walked out of her matrimonial home after 6 years of failed marriage along with her 5 years old son. She came to Delhi to hunt for work, to give education to her child, and of course, to survive. Initially, she joined BPO industry to have a quick money, but after 5 years, she persuaded her career in law field and started practicing law. Today, she is a partner in Attorneys Alliance law firm in New Delhi. She believes in that we are born as a human to help each other. Our life is not only to live for ourselves, but to give something to the mankind, to the society. Her purpose in life is to inspire people, to serve, to help, to care, to do whatever she can do. She is highly organized, sincere, punctual, and self-motivated person. Her law firm is giving services to people who are not having access to justice, who cannot afford high fees of lawyers. Welcome, Advocate Anita Mahapatra on our show. Advocate Anita Mahapatra, you being yourself is a single parent. So you faced whatsoever the problems. You have seen both the sides. The when you are married and when you are staying as a couple, and now you are staying as a single mother or single parent. And you are also an advocate, and you are doing so much social work, and especially when you are providing access to the law or justice to those who are underprivileged or those who are poor, because the law is very expensive nowadays, everybody knows. And this is such a good service. Hats off to you. But now we would like to know, Advocate Anita Mahapatra, that now everybody knows that the COVID is coming back. You might have seen the phases pre-COVID time, that is up to 2019. And you have seen the time when the COVID was on peak in 2020. You have also seen the time when the COVID was going and we were again coming for the normalcy. And now, when the COVID is coming back, what are the challenges? What the lessons have been learned? And what is the impact? COVID returns impact on single parent. Advocate Anita Mahapatra, please.
Thank you, Mr. Lal Goel, for giving me opportunity to speak on today's topic, COVID return impact on single parents. My introduction has already been given by you, so I'll start with the topic straight away. I'll not introduce myself. So good morning, everyone, to all those who are present here, and also to all those who may watch this later and could not watch it today due to some prior commitment. Okay, there are 13 million households run by single mothers. They can be widows, they can be divorcees, separated, single by choice. Yes, in our country, an estimated 4.5% of all households, according to United Nations Women Report in 2019. The pandemic presents a particular challenge for single parents. As they rely on just one income, that too with salary cuts, to support their family and are without another adult in the household to balance childcare arrangements. As the pandemic has progressed, there has been little consideration of financial, practical, or emotional impacts of the crisis on single parents and their children. I myself and many have faced an impossible task of balancing their financial stability and with the practicalities of lockdown, isolation, school and children closures, homeschooling, increased living costs, and the loss of their wider support network. All this coupled with the constant fear of a possible job loss during the pandemic. Single parent situation is the same as two parents household. There is no difference, except we don't have anyone to share the load. So we are in solitary confinement with the kid. So some single parents, like I'll give you some examples. Some single parents, like those who are domestic worker, those who are daily wager, they have no work since lockdown, and during return also they don't have any work. So COVID-19 fears don't bother them as much as the inability to cough up school fees for the children who have been barred from attending online classes. And some single parent I know, those who are from metro cities like Delhi, Mumbai, they don't even get help from their neighbors because it's a big town. And in case to oversee their minor child, if she goes out to buy little stuff like milk or bread, some of the single parents who is single parents can be a father also, like if a father going through custody battles have been left in the lurch with courts shut, parents like them earlier used to meet their kids in mall, in open space, in schools particularly. But since March they could not even meet their kids in schools because schools are closed. So single parents are all struggling. Those going to work, leaving their children with caretakers, and then the ones working from home with kids. I know few single mother doctors on COVID-19 duty, having small kid who is homebound with babysitter. And after returning from hospital, when the mother desperately wants to take a nap, she has to instead engage with the child, leaving her depressed. So, according to me, Indians lack acceptance, understanding, and empathy for single parents. I'm also planning to file a public interest litigation seeking welfare measure for single parents. Yeah, we don't want to be pitied. In contrast, we are independent, strong, brave, and happy parents who thrive and multitask every day. Our struggles can be mitigated by government policies granting child and healthcare support along with economic security. That's it. Yeah. Now, if I talk about my life, see my life as a single parent during pre-COVID-19 situation, post-COVID-19 situation, and COVID-19 return. I'm living with my only son since he was 5 years old. Today he's 21, and I've learned in all these years that how to live alone without any feeling of guilt, regret, isolation, and I'm doing it pretty well. On the other hand, see, living alone, the lockdown is a completely new ball game. The entire ecosystem, which I was used to during normal times, pre-lockdown times, just collapsed overnight. I had to adapt to this new normal. This is new normal, these days, where there was no domestic help, no maid, no milkman, no electrician, no plumber, etc. So it was not possible to call home friends or parents or your relatives sometimes, when you needed them. Then I had to be the superwoman, a legal counsel, a mom, a cook, a house help, a plumber, electrician, a delivery man, yes, all rolled into one. And to top it all, to manage the temperament of my son, I've been through it all. So I would say I'm blessed to be able to cope up with all these situations. Lockdown has been a good teacher for me, at least. I'm learned to maintain a work-life balance while working from home. And I'm happy to say that I've been managed to take out time for my daily early morning workouts too. Further, I also got opportunity to give quality time to my son, to listen to him, understand him more, know about his dreams, his aspirations. We have been able to connect more. Yes. And being alone for me had its upside also during the lockdown. And a friend of mine had four men sitting at home, and her household work increased multiple times as none of them were going to office. So at least I was not in such a situation. Now let me give some key points to all single parents here listening to me today, so that COVID-19 return will no way affect you mentally and physically. Acknowledge that right now you are in a survival mode. Be kind to yourself and remember that though it may feel lonely, you are not alone. Everyone is going through this in one way or another. Settle for less academics. It's virtually impossible to work from home and be your kid's teacher 5 days a week. If you can manage to do academic work with your child 3 days a week instead of five, that's great. Don't regret. Go back to basics. Try setting your priorities for the day in the morning, what has to get done, then maybe add what you would like to get done. Kids and you also need good sleep, some nutrition, and ideally a bit of exercise every day. Those are the basics, yes. So relax screen time limits. That doesn't mean letting your kid watch day TV all day, but yes, allowing a little extra time on the mobile or an extra hour of gaming can give you time to recharge and let everyone have a little break. So remember, these changes aren't forever. You are just adapting to unusual situation, and this is for time being. Then have virtual meals with friends who live in other parts of the country and who are at home with their kids. This may be the time to reconnect with that college friend you have lost touch with and introduce your kids to each other. Then you can call to see if local libraries or the music class you used to attend with your child are offering virtual sessions. Remember that you are not limited to resources in your geographic area. Go easy on yourself. Like everything else about the current situation, your work life simply might not be up to its usual standard. But as long as you're staying on top of your essential day to day tasks, you are doing your job, even if you are usually determined to go above and beyond. Well, I do understand that when it comes to daily life during the coronavirus crisis, we are all making it up as we go along. It's not going to be the same for everyone. How you cope up, will depend in part on how old your kids are, how independent they can be, and what your work situation is. Feel free to embrace whatever works for you and your kids. And if you try a strategy that worked for someone else and find that it's not right for you, let it go. This pandemic didn't come with a know-how manual, and remembering that can be the key to making this situation less stressful for you and your kids alike. Okay, with your permission, I also have some suggestion for government to take
That
following measures for single parents.
that we will take in the next round,
Okay,
Advocate Anita.
great, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Advocate Anita Mahapatra, for giving your views. And Advocate Anita has, because she herself is a single parent, but she very boldly and courageously she handled the situation. Although she says it's a difficult time, especially during the COVID time, when you require someone to share your views, share your agony, share your workload. But because she is dealing for last almost 16 years, she has dealt very successfully, and with the son at that time when she decided to stay aloof was only 5 years. Now he's 21 years, and because she is educated and doing practice in Delhi, in a metro city, so she is having those infrastructure and facilities. But she says there are so many single parents, like the maids and those who are workers, daily labor, or their situation is very pathetic because their earnings have been stopped during the COVID. And she says now the COVID is coming back. Again, the same situation is going to happen. But she has given some very important suggestions to the single parents how they can cope up during this pandemic time. I'm sure our viewers who are listening, they got the very good information, and their knowledge is definitely enriched by the what views Advocate Anita Mahapatra has given. Thank you very much, Advocate Anita Mahapatra. I will come back to you definitely, and then we'll ask you to give the suggestions for the government also. Now, I would like to invite my next guest, and she is Miss Kankana Mukherjee. Miss Kankana Mukherjee is the senior manager at TV9 Network. She is having 14 years of experience in the field of media and advertising. Miss Kankana Mukherjee studied at St. Xavier's and Jamia Millia University, that is JMU. She worked in India and abroad, as she was associated with Dainik Jagran, Amar Ujala, and currently working with TV9 Network. Welcome, Miss Kankana Mukherjee, on our show. Miss Mukherjee, you have heard what Advocate Anita Mahapatra has spoken, and she has given the details about both the sides, the plus side and negative side of the single parent. But definitely, her views reflects that the pandemic, especially the COVID, was very much very disaster for the single parent, and especially those who are of the underprivileged class, because they could not afford, because of the salary cut, jobs cuts. So many have could not have the even the earnings, and they could not share their views with anyone. Now we would like to know from you the COVID returns impact on single parent. Miss Kankana Mukherjee, please.
Thank you so much, sir, for this opportunity. And I'm really blessed that you have given this opportunity a platform to share our point of view on this pandemic that we are just going through, and we are all part of this. So, if I just take you through a bit of my journey, how it started. So, it was 2012 when I came back to India, and my parents were staying in Delhi itself. And then I came back to Delhi because Delhi is a place which I studied and I would wanted to pursue my career. My son was only 4.5 when I came back, and he's 14 now. So it's 10 long years that this whole journey has always been there. Yes, I was fortunate enough that I had my support of my parents. Yes, and my family members, they always supported me. So, but what I feel, coming back to the topic on pandemic, is I would feel that it is nature's way of teaching us a lot of things. First and foremost, I feel that yes, technology comes with a double-edged sword. So what happened was, the moment the lockdown was there, the moment everybody was confined into the houses and nobody could go out, so the only thing that remained with all of us to be in touch was technology. So what happened was, everybody like voraciously dependent only on one thing to get connected, was internet. Now, yes, we are surely seeing the positive sides of it as well, and definitely that keeps us. Even this conference today is actually happening because of the wires there somewhere. So that is definitely a wonderful thing. But as I keep saying that, everything has. It is a double-edged sword. The sharper the sword is, the sharper the problems are. So what happened is, then became the issue when your child is completely left to a world which is a virtual world, and you have no control over it. Absolutely no control. Because as long as the child is going to school, you know that the child is going to school, who the teachers are, who the friends are. You're completely aware of his world. And we, being single parents, I believe it's a huge responsibility on our shoulders, not only on the financial grounds, what we are facing each day, but to rear up a very, very responsible child for the society. Because we feel, I believe that every single mother would be going through this stress, that my child should become a responsible citizen of this country, whether be it girl or a boy. So what matters for us the most is that the child we are rearing up, because we are single-handedly taken up this responsibility. Since we have taken up this responsibility, it completely lies on to us. The other spouse has anyways gone scot-free. So we are the one who is actually shaping up our child each day. And when this child grows up and goes to the society, it becomes our absolute responsibility to see that this child is a responsible citizen, he's a good human being, and he is actually bringing more value to the society than becoming a menace. So then in these situations, when these things kind of hover around in your mind all the time, and then you realize that your child is absolutely being open to a world where you do not have any control. I think that's a scary thought for all the single parents, because we are not aware what side the child is actually going. And you cannot put on so many fireballs, you cannot do that, it is practically impossible. So what happens is, and since this lures you, internet lures everybody, all of us. I mean, I think we all are victims to it. When we watch a video in YouTube, I think one leads to another, another leads to another, and we are not even aware that how much time is already wasted. And then suddenly we realize, oh shit, I waste so much of time. But then we, being adults, we being matured human beings, still we are going through this stress. So think about a child who is in an adolescent phase, like my son, or who is a little elder maybe, or even younger. So what happens is that I think that is the danger, which is huge on our end, because there's nobody to actually look after the child when he is having the classes. Is he actually doing the classes? Because what happens is, Google for us, for all of us, is just like a genie. I mean, which I do not advocate though, but Google has become a genie for everybody. You want to know the temperature of Arizona today? You just click on Google. You want to know what is happening in Kenya? You just click onto Google. We do not, or we have forgotten those habit of researching. And that is the problem with our children too, today's generation. Everything you tell them, you just immediately don't, they know that there's an answer which is given in Google. So what happens is their tendency to work hard, their tendency to kind of strive something, is actually lost over the course of time. So I feel that internet though is a terrific gift for all of us, but at the same time it also has huge effects on them. Now, the children would go to any site, they would listen to any music, and you do not know. And then they have another chatting sites always, as well, which is beyond WhatsApp, right? And you aren't even aware of, because the child is anyways interacting with 10 other kids who are also discovering new things. So you have new problems coming up each day. And during that time, the interference or the interaction with the parents and the children becomes extremely imperative. So the problem which I faced the most, I would say that my working hours became absolutely horrendous, because the moment I mean, initially, we all go to offices, we work there, but then we come back home, right? But then here, that gap, or that difference between a personal time and a professional time is absolutely not there. So even at 12 o'clock at night, we are working, we have work to finish. And with salary cuts, with so much of job insecurity, everybody is shit scared, everybody wants to give in their 200%, so that they can kind of justify their jobs, because you know that your boss is not seeing you, so you kind of have to work more to show that, yes, I am there, I'm working. So these are very practical challenges which we faced, and I'm sure 2021 is going to be the aftermath of it. We are not going to see any respite of it. But coming back to our parenthood, I think the thing which I used to do and I continue doing is, my son and myself, we engage, as in fact, Anita also had expressed, that we engaged into a lot of conversation. I would talk to my parents, because everybody is kind of scared. This is an environment we are not aware of, we do not know what is going to happen. Everybody is scared about the outcomes, and this is completely new. As she said, that, yeah, of course, it doesn't come with a manual, it doesn't, we do not know what is going to happen. So what is imperative, what is important, is to keep the environment of the house healthy. And the only way by which one can keep the environment of the house healthy is to interact and to be away from screen. I kind of I'm very strict as far as screen time is concerned. So the moment, like, I'm off from work, we'll say, okay, no screen time, no screen time, let's all shut down all the screens, maybe it's phone, maybe it's laptop, TVs, whatever. Let's just shut down screen time. Because screen time is one way communication. It is just that, you are just watching something, you're grasping something. There is no two-way communication, there's no relationship which is building up. So we used to do a lot of things like that, and we continue doing it. And I would also suggest that the parents out there, be it single or who have spouses with you, who are lucky to have two parents, it is important to give family time. And family time means away from screen. And that would be anything. You can talk to your child about a joke. You can talk to a child and have and play board games. In fact, board games used to be, I still remember when we were kids, we would play Ludo, we would play Carom, right? These things are considered to be archaic. These things are considered to be old fashioned. But the fact is, these used to unite the family. And that is what is very important right now. Very, very important. So there are numerous board games which are available online. Buy them, play with your kids, be involved, read a book together, or for a change, do something together. Tell your child to make parathas and rotis for you. You can all do that. So what is important, what I feel right now, is not to be scared, of course, because this is something we are not aware of, and it is going to go one day, in the sense that, either we are going to get adapted to it, or we're going to see a brighter sun someday. But then, till then, we're going to have to be sticking together to each other, be thick to each other. And as Anita rightly said, forgive each other as well, because of course there are so many things we aren't able to do. The children are not able to go out. They're having all their classes on the form of internet, and even meeting, even they meet their friends online. So I feel it is a tough situation for each and every being. Imagine a 3-year-old child who loves to play cannot go out. I mean, that's sad, isn't it? That's very sad. I feel pathetic when I see a baby, I mean, who is clinging to the mother but has to put a mask on. This is how sad the reality is right now. And everybody is trying, everybody is working their level best to come out victorious. But till then, we have to keep on fighting it with keeping ourselves thick to the family. And uh, I mean, I would say that ration your screen time. That is one thing that I would really, really like to say. That it's very important for our parent, for we as parents, to kind of have a numbered amount of hours that one is exposed to the screen, because it of course affects our health. It affects us mentally. We become absolutely social aliens. So it is important. Let's ration that. Let's try to be more into tangible things. I mean, playing Ludo is going to be a fun thing again. So try to do that, and let's see to the brighter side as well. And I think this is what I would like to say. And we are all fighting it out together. And yes, if we get, as Anita said about the government schemes and all, I completely and fully agree to her that. I think it is these single mothers only who do not get any kind of leverage anywhere. And that is something which means a lot to us. Yes. Uh, Whenever a family with two parents working, the workload gets shared, everything gets shared, the financial assistance gets shared. But here, everything is doubled up. So it's time we recognize this, and it's time that we realize that it is important for single parents to have some sort of leverages from the government, or on economic sides as well. So that is going to help a lot of people. So that is surely something which I have my nod all the time.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Kankana Mukherjee, for giving your very, very strong views against the internet. But sometimes internet, because the COVID time, only the internet is the only tool which we are using. And if I have to go with your words, then because my internet timings to from in 24 hours is about 15 hours, because I have to prepare the show every day. And so I have to spend 13 hours on my mobile and 2 hours on laptop. So 15 hours a day I'm spending on internet, doing all this work. So sometimes I feel, but yes, you are right. For a single parent, and even for any family, the child who were supposed to go out in pre-pandemic time, they used to go out, play, go to the school. They have a chance meeting the children, the friends, etc. But here they are confined to the house. And the difficult part is when there is a single parent, because then there is a two parents, spouse is there. They can interact, they can talk. But once only single parent, and the workload of a single parent is definitely more, because everything is to be done. Because we have seen during the COVID time, the family has supported that husband is doing cooking or cleaning, and similarly vice versa, the wife, when they're doing all those things, and the children are supporting. But when there is a single parent with a child, it's very, very difficult. And yes, you are right that if the child or a parent is only clinging to the internet, till when? Because 1 year is already passed. And the things which we are foreseeing now, the way it is increasing day by day, it's very, very scary. It looks like that this year is also going to be washed out totally. No schools, no physical schools, no in-person schools. no offices. So basically everything online. And the situation. So what's good, very good suggestions which Miss Kankana Mukherjee has given about the board games. One has to play, one has to go to the basics. What we used to have in our childhood, we have to bring those again. But she has also mentioned that yes, those who are fortunate, those who have a spouse, they have the life different than those who are single. But she says that she has handled very nicely, and she's proud that she has, for last 10 years, she has brought up her son in a very big way. So it's a good thing. Thank you very much, Ms. Kankana Mukherjee. Definitely, I would like to come back with few very simple questions, which I'm sure you will be giving and clearing the things.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
So
sir.
now I would like to invite my next guest, and she is Dr. Deepika Singh. Dr. Deepika Singh is a consultant psychiatrist at Sukoon Health, Fortis, Gurugram. She is MD Psychiatry from prestigious Seth GS Medical College and KEM Hospital, Mumbai. Winner of Young Psychiatrist Award from awardee from Ministry of Taiwan, Revamp. International ECP Fellowship from INS Shams University, Cairo. Welcome, Dr. Deepika Singh. Dr. Deepika Singh, you have heard from the two single mothers who are handling the child, the family, and especially during the COVID time. And now the COVID is coming back. Now you are a psychiatrist, you are a doctor consultant at Sukoon Health, Fortis, Gurugram. You are definitely dealing with many such type of single parent. And you can, because now we have seen the side from the single parent side. Now we are coming from the other side. As a psychiatrist, what are your views about the COVID returns impact on single parent? Dr. Deepika Singh, please unmute.
Very good morning, sir. Very good morning to all of you. I have actually heard really well from Anita ma'am, Kankana ma'am, and I really agree with most of the things, as single parents, they have been bringing up their kids. And like you've seen, as in, the screen time has increased immensely, even for us, every single day, you're constantly on your phone, constantly searching things. And so the screen addiction, obviously, it's a big thing. Most of the parents, they realized it probably during COVID times. It is, when they have enough time back home, now they are constantly looking at the child. So that is also a thing that, there are no problems, but they are trying to search for things. And then they'll bring into the psychiatrist, oh, is this a problem? Do we need to rectify it? So yeah, the over-analysis, they're trying to, self-medicate. That has also increased a lot as in with respect to that. So now let me come to this topic. First, it would be the impact on single parents. So single parents are mothers as well as fathers. So first, let us see what are the reasons for stress. So what would be the reason that we feel stressful? Either we perceive a situation as dangerous, difficult, or, painful or difficult, as in, or we believe that we don't have the resources to cope. So this is the most important thing. There are two things. One, we are perceiving the situation to be something different. And second, we don't think we are good enough, or we don't think that we have enough resources to cope with that situation. So for a single parent, it is always, it's not they always feel, but somehow it is back of the mind, and it is true that instead of both of them, it's just one person, there's just one resource, right? There's just one person who is handling every other thing. So they believe that, what if the other person would have been there? What if they had some other help, which they tried to arrange? But with lockdown, what happened is, all these, as in, their support system, that was not there. So supposedly you're sending a child to a daycare, or you are sending your kid to the neighbors, at times you have some work. This was a norm way back, I don't think as in metros, it still works. But in the small towns or second-tier cities, people leave their kids with the neighbors and they go some work and then come back, and, their neighbor is taking care of the kids. But then with COVID, you cannot even do that, you cannot handle your kid, forget the neighbors or anyone as in. So that is again a stress. Now we would come to something called as caregiver burden. So this term is used for, when the caregiver is physically exhausted, emotionally, physically, mentally. by taking care of the person who is ill. But same thing can be applied when you're taking care of any person who requires your help. It may be a child. So caregiver stress is really a big thing. Like, you're constantly, and there's no one to take care about your own needs. So there is this increased relationship between maternal depression and the output on the cognition and emotional development of the child. So supposedly a mother herself is depressed. How would, if she is like, we've seen this more often, doesn't, mother stays withdrawn. She's not able to take care of the child. So the child herself would learn the things as in, try to grow up. We say the child has grown up too quickly. And जल्दी ही बड़ा हो गया, इससे सारी चीजें जमाने ने उसके वक्त ने परिस्थिति ने सिखा दिया, right? Something like that. But then it does have an impact on the child, the way they handle the relationship. So in cases with divorces, or as in, when there is a constant diff between the parents, when a child is seeing such things, it does impact them. They lose that importance. They lose that, how to carry on that relationship. They have not learned that. It is not because of parents or anything, because it is because of the environment they are staying in, right? Now with lockdown, what happened is, like we all know, schools were shut down, there's no playground, there's nothing. And so the biggest support system for a father, I've recently consulted from him, the biggest support system were the teachers. The tuition teacher used to come back home. So now that teachers is not there. That teacher was taking care of the child, asking the questions. When sometimes that bond between the father and the child, it is there strong, but the teacher was asked questions like about her periods, or about, the new girlfriend, how things are going. So that bond, that is suddenly not there. That physical presence of the teacher is not there. And then, remember during the lockdown, parents were completely, as in, repeated washing of things before giving to the child. They were, as in, afraid, as in, that something can happen to the child. They may contract the virus. So they're constantly in that fear. I had this patient of mine who was so much of sadness, like Anita ji said, as in, with that COVID isolation, mother coming back to her place, and then she's not able to hug her child. Similarly, there's this friend who was, as in, was home isolation. She was keeping herself away from the child for 10 days, and just seeing the child, and the child was constantly coming in her room, constantly telling her, as in, grandmother or something, I want to meet the child. So that has been the first time the child has been separated from the mother for maximum 10 days. It has never happened before. Mother feels guilty about the same thing, as in, but she doesn't want to be close to the child because of fear of contracting virus. So such fear, such as in, it acts a toll. And then, there's no one else to take care apart from the family. In most cases, the parents would be, somewhere in different cities. If they are together also, you're constantly worried, because the presence now, instead of two parents, is just one person who is doing the role of both the parents. So just one person is responsible for taking care of every single thing. And if that one person, what if that person contracts COVID? Or what if that person wants to be isolated? The child feels really helpless. The child is like, so there are a few signs of depression in a child, which would be like a child may be refusing to attend online schools. So we see depression very differently in adults versus child. So in adults, like usual thing will be going withdrawn, going into cocoon, or sometimes crying, sometimes as in, being very irritable, sleeping a lot or not sleeping at all. But for a child, it would be completely different. So we had this patient recently with trichotillomania. Trichotillomania would be pulling out of hair. So I just observed the child that he's not having eyebrows. Okay. And then I was like, it doesn't look like a hereditary thing, like, that there are no eyebrows. I asked the mother, and mother said, as in, at times I see the child who's plucking his hair. It's not that he's eating it, he's just plucking it. And when I asked the child, he's like, yeah, jab mujhe tension hota hai na, tab I pluck it, and then it feels, maybe anxiety, it gets relieved. I asked him, what's the reason? He's like, my parents, though they are separated, but constantly my mother is blamed by my grandparents for the separation and for the things, and that, she's not able to take care of things and all that. So there's constant noise in the house, and I get really worried. I get, mujhe bahut kharab lagta hai, mujhe bura lagta hai, and then just gives me a feeling of relaxation. So this trichotillomania is a feature of depression now. He is using this as a coping technique. Okay, this is very common in kids. Then other would be nail biting when they're anxious. something as head banging, something as school refusal, they don't want to attend the school. Then it would be bedwetting, which is very common, as in the younger age group bedwetting is very common. But as the child grows, you assume bedwetting, as in which we call nocturnal enuresis, that to go off by around 4-5 years of age. But uske baad bhi every night, every alternate day, you're seeing child is wetting the bed, and despite giving less of water at night, asking him to go to washroom before sleeping, still that is there. Because what happens is, at night he's completely calm, his bladder muscles are relaxed, and that time he as goes into this passage of urine. So nocturnal enuresis is one of the signs of depression. So these are the signs we don't even realize the child is depressed. And the impact is not just on the parent. When they see the child, they really don't know what to do about it. Now with, like ma'am said, screen addiction. So they are constantly there with the child. Now there are new things, you've seen patients are talking about it. They don't know where to go. First, you had friends to discuss with things. You had your parents to look after the child. Now with lockdown, even that is not there. So you're worried about addictions. Now children are back home. You see at times they are, in the separate room, they are smoking something, and it comes to it as a shock for a mother, as in, ki, I had been a good mother. How did my child enter into addiction? How is he, as in, how can he do something like this? They confront, and the child obviously will say no, and then they don't know what to do about it. As in, going to a psychiatrist is a very big thing, obviously with the stigma associated, and we are not prepared for such things. Like we've never been taught, as in, what a pornography is, how much it should be allowed, should you be discussing it with the child. And during lockdown, when you are stuck in a house together with the kid, so when both parents are there, they discuss things out. They discuss that child, I believe that child is doing something, he is into pornography, he is into addiction, he is playing games, addicted to video games or something a lot. What should we do about it? Now as a single parent, your resources are really less. You don't even want to discuss such things about something like your child is addicted to weed, or he is consuming, marijuana and or opioids or any other drugs. You don't want to discuss it with your family members because you don't want to bring his image down, but you don't want to discuss with grandparents. You have no one else to discuss, and then you also feel worried about it. So these are the issues which we're never thinking about it. Now, considering what you can do, as in, don't compare yourself with other parents. This comes very naturally to us. You would be comparing with someone, you're like, probably a mother would be comparing to her sister. She is having sister, brother-in-law, they are able to take care of the kids properly. Then your child may be comparing with other parents, as in, my friend ke parents, dekhe kitte achhe hai, they both are together, they are doing things. And then it does upset you at times. But then try to overcome it, try to have a healthy talk with the child and lower the parenting bar. It is like, I agree, as parents, it comes doubly to you that, now that I'm a single parent, I have to prove the world. Sometimes it's not to prove the world. Sometimes you want the best for your child. You want to do every single thing for your child. Okay, and you want like, I can do this, I need not need any help. I can do everything managed. And which divorces, which were really ugly, you want to do it all the more. You want to show the other parent that I can take care of the child and everything. And then it comes an added responsibility, added tension, added stress, which you are, taking it on yourself, that I have to. So lower the parenting bar. This is like Anita ma'am said, this is a survival mode right now. Okay, you just have to survive through this pandemic. So this too shall pass, And again, I'll say, also, like what happens is usually when a psychiatrist talks, I usually keep on giving the psychiatric things which I see with the patients. But then family members come and say, I think my child is into this. I think he's headbang. I think that nail biting, which is a normal thing of anxiety, that may be more. So stop searching for problems. If it is problems are there, they'll be visible to you, right? You don't have to search and then go for quick fixes. But then just acknowledge the problems and then go for things. And this too shall pass. It's not a big thing. COVID will come, COVID will go, and rest all thing will be fine. So just have that optimism and positivity. Everything will be good. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Deepika Singh, for giving your views about the impact on single parent of the COVID returns. And Dr. Deepika Singh is very clear. She says that's lots of challenges, and especially the psychological impact on not only on the single parent but on the child, and that is a very bad impact, because according to Dr. Singh, when there are two parents, they can share those things, they can discuss among themselves, they can try to solve the problems. And she has explained each and every problem in details. And but she is also of the view that the challenges are there. One has to take the challenge, and one has to be careful because of the COVID thing. But there is only thing is that how to handle the child whenever there is a problem, whenever they feel like, because some problems they cannot discuss even in their family or even to their friends. So they must try to consult the psychologist or anyone who can give them the correct guidance instead of taking that burden themselves. Because if even the mother is taking the burden, then she will become irritable, and she will be doing something which is going to take the peace of the family, which they always want. And similarly, vice versa, the child health, which is very much required. And after all, the purpose, according to Dr. Singh, that all single mother wants to see the child to be the best in the world. That is only possible if the mother, single mother, take the care of the child's mental health also, and especially during this pandemic. Thank you very much, Dr. Singh, for giving your expert advice as far as the from the medical side, which is very much important, the psychology or the psychiatry of a child. Thank you very much, Dr. Singh. Now I would like to invite my next guest, and she is Rotarian Akshita Nayak. Rotarian Akshita Nayak is MSc, she is a counseling psychologist and founder chairperson Here to Here at Dharwad. She obtained her master's degree in psychology with a specialization in counseling from Christ University, Bangalore. Having done her thesis in depression and mental health, she has been working extensively in that area. In addition to that, she has been dealing with cases related to anxiety, de-addiction, relationship issues, stress, and trauma, to name a few. She is the founder of an online counseling portal called Here to Here, established in a view to help people to have an easy access to counseling and therapy. Welcome, Rotarian Akshita Nayak, on our show. Rotarian Akshita Nayak, you have heard what Advocate Anita Mahapatra, as well as Ms. Kankana Mukherjee, as well as Dr. Deepika Singh has mentioned. And they are very, very clear that this COVID time, the previous time, that last year, that is 2020, was very, very difficult time, lots of challenges. And now again, the COVID is coming back. And once the COVID is returning, the same challenges which they faced in the last year is going to be there. Although they have learned few lessons, like Ms. Kankana Mukherjee has mentioned about the board games, etc., which they have learned during the COVID time. So they have learned few lessons, but still the way, because the fatigue is there, the child has become very much bored in confined to home for last 1 year, and God forbids 1 year more, the way the COVID is coming back. So in this condition, according to you, what is your views of COVID returns impact on single parent? Rotarian Akshita Nayak, please.
Yes, sir. First of all, thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk about this. And our panelists have discussed almost everything that is there in the situation today. I'd give a little bit of psychological point of view, pertaining to the children and the parents. So I'd keep it very brief. But as you've already mentioned, there are almost 13 million households in India. That is almost accounting to 4.5% who are single parents. So it's a very huge population, and it is very important that.
Excuse me, Ms.
Yes.
Nayak.
Yes.
Just don't swing your chair. It's disturbing the or your it's because it's a live telecast. Yeah.
Is that okay now?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you tell me if it's a problem again, because
again, don't worry. I will definitely say.
Sure. Thank you, sir. So it's a huge population, and that's why probably we'll have to take into consideration as to what is actually happening during the pandemic. And there's not much research or anything done already on this topic, because COVID returns, because it's just happening again. This month it just started again, and we were planning to there's not much research done on this topic. So I'll be talking about this based on probably my, clients and what I have observed through, the days that I have been counseling. So first of all, of the few articles that I have read, they say that single parents, families with small children, and survivors against violence in women were some of the groups that were most affected by COVID-19. Okay. And COVID-19 is harming the health, the social, and material well being of children worldwide. So, when it comes to children, because of the closure of schools, okay, and social distancing, people used to go out. Before, parents used to tell the children, go out, play, don't use mobile phones, all that. But now, one of my friend was telling the parents have made it come. The headmistress was telling the teacher telling the parents that you have to get a mobile phone for the child, and you have to use phone. So the parents have to encourage, which is opposite of what they had told before. And the children are not allowed to go outside, meet other people, or talk to their friends. So it is very difficult for children as well. And because as Miss Kankana has already told, screen time has increased. Because of screen time, you have no it is unsupervised. You do not know what the children are watching. The online internet usage has increased. Also, cyberbullying has increased a lot. And nowadays we are also getting calls, because I am into helpline as well. So I'm getting calls from children who are reporting of domestic abuse. Probably the parents are frustrated. Some of the parents are frustrated, and they are letting it out on children. And because it's a closed environment, children are facing a lot of problem, and we are getting calls from children as domestic abuse. So the domestic case abuses have increased. So it's very difficult for children as well. And when it comes to parents, single parents especially, all the burden falls on that one person. They are not, they have to take care of entire responsibilities. They have to earn for the family, plus look after their child. So it is, I cannot imagine how difficult it would be for such people, especially, when it came to a lot of my clients who were single, parents. They had, exhibited these, few things: difficulty sleeping. First of all, they couldn't relax at that time. Even, during the night, they couldn't sleep. So insomnia, the cases of insomnia was very high. Secondly, feeling upset and agitated all the time. Okay. Feeling hopeless, they had lost interest. So which are very common, cases of anxiety and depression were very much observable during this point. And many people were actually consulting, psychologists, which I was very happy about. But one also very important point that the parents told me was they were very worried about their children's future, because first of all, there are no schools right now, and it's homeschooling. So the quality of education obviously drops down. The children are very indisciplined at home. You cannot expect the parent to take care of everything related to the homework, the way children will learn everything. You cannot expect the parents to take care of everything. But and as as our panelists had mentioned, they are very worried about their children's future, because it is mostly on them. If they become good, or they become not so good, it is on them. So investing a lot on the fees nowadays, the fees is never less than 1 or 1.5 lakhs. So affording that fees and not getting that quality of education, it's very difficult to manage all that. Parents seem to be burnt out from homeschooling, because it was extremely difficult. Children were not listening. It is difficult in a school environment when they are with other students, and their friends or their peers are learning, and it kind of motivates them. But here they are just to themselves, and parents at the end of the day can't even force their child to study a lot. They'll just say, I'll just study for 1 hour, 2 hour, and you have to just let it go, because the single parent also will have their own set of work. There were no maids. Okay. And many people couldn't afford for maids, or maids were not coming in metro cities. So that, plus managing their office work, it was all a lot of burden. Okay. And a lot of behavioral problems. So recently I had got a call from one of my patients So she was anyways taking consultancy from me, and she also asked that her daughter was acting very weird, like she was not listening to her, she was just shut in the room, she was not talking to anybody, she was not attending classes, she had exams which she missed, and she was in, I think, ninth standard. So it becomes very difficult, and the parent was not able to understand what she has to do about it, because it's very difficult. You cannot go to the hospitals also, it's a very risky place to take children there. So everything has to happen online. Sometimes people are not able to establish relationship over the phone call. So everything, in every aspect, this was a very difficult phase for the parents. Then parents have also reported of feeling fearful and vulnerable, because see, 2020 was more like 2021 will be better, and 2021 there'll be vaccination, things will get fine in 2021, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel kind of a thing. But now what has happened, the tunnel is just increasing and increasing, and we are not seeing any light. So that causes a lot of uncertainty, and uncertainty always causes anxiety. So when you're always anxious, you do not know when it is going to stop, when you're actually going to have relief. And even you cannot go on vacations, you cannot go out. So the frustration is just building up and building up inside, and there is no let out from all these things. Okay, so um and now one another very important thing is, single parents can be a male, can be a female, they can have work from home facility, or they can go to the field and work. So when a person has to go to the field, and they have to go outside their work, and they have to go, sometimes it's extremely necessary, they cannot work from home, they do not have that option, and the maids don't come, or they cannot afford for maids, the child is inside alone in the house. So the kind of pressure that forms inside of a parent's mind, when they, especially when they do not have family support, or when they do not, when their parents are aged, or they cannot come and take care of the child, or traveling is difficult. So that kind of an insecurity, or that kind of a fear that has been developed inside parents' minds, it's very difficult, and I feel it's going to be far-fetched. That is not going to go. That insecurity is not going to run out of their minds very easily. Okay. So the pandemic has also compromised on pay scales. So pay scales, people are getting just 70% of how much they used to get in a month. So many single parents are not getting alimony, and the cases have been fought, but then alimony is not given completely, because the other spouse also is running on half salary or not getting income. Many people are facing problems because of that. Sometimes alimony is the only ray of hope for the parent. It becomes very difficult to take care of the household that time. So economically, it's been hit really bad. And obviously, when it's economically hit, it definitely causes problems to the mental health of the person. So another very, very important point is loneliness. When you do not have a spouse, it becomes very difficult to share the burden with somebody. Before, there used to be dating apps, there were friends that you can talk to. Now all of them have been curbed. You cannot talk to, virtually, how much ever we tell, it's not as good as you talk to a person face to face. That feeling of being there, touching your hand, or anything, that is not there right now. So it is very difficult, and dating apps especially has been stopped, so you do not have access to meeting people. It's very, very, very difficult. So that way, it must have hit. Then another point is increasing moral policing. First of all, in India, there's a lot of taboo surrounding single parents. And now one of my client was telling that he is able to hear what his neighbors are telling. Before, he used to work, he used to go early in the morning, come back late in the night, he did not actually bother about what the society was telling him. But now, because he's there all the time, he's understanding, he's even mentally frustrated, he's able to grasp everything that other people are telling, and it is just getting onto him at a point. So that also. And solitary confinement, like our panelists have told, solitary confinement with the child, after a point you lose out on the ideas of how you can engage the child, what kind of activities you have to give the child, because now it's been more than a year. Now people have they have ran out of reason of how to be how they can be creative with the child, or how they can involve the child in different activities. So I think it is an extremely difficult phase, especially for the single parent, because there are, if there is a person with them, if they have some kind of support, it becomes much easier. There's somebody to share. Okay. But these are all the downsides of what the pandemic would have done to the single parent. But then when it comes to the positive side also, I can't just end with the negative side. I have to tell a positive side also. Like our panelists have told, good relationship, the connections that have developed over time, okay, over the past. No one had time before. Everyone was always busy doing something or the other. Now people have time for each other. They can, like she said, we can do board games, we can play games with, our children. We can talk to them about their life, what is actually happening, about their, weaknesses and their strengths. It's very important that we talk, because communication is the key to everything. So communication is happening. They are getting in touch with, they are probably their relatives and their friends they have not spoken for over so many years. So that is happening. And I read this, in one of the article that the mother had to work, in the kitchen, finish the work. So the child went into the room, started playing by itself, and was being more understanding to the situation of the mother, which was not the case before. So here the child is understanding that I have to be good to my mother because it's difficult for her to manage everything. So before, the child was not understanding, and now that child is able to understand. So probably it's growing up. So it's a good sign. It's a good sign that people are becoming independent because of this. So I think that's another upside of this. But as in whatever I have told, I think the tunnel is huge. We are just going and going, but then we should not lose hope. That's one thing I will tell. And it's not a very difficult thing if we start taking care of each other. And mental health professionals are always there. I would really urge everyone to talk to a person. Nowadays many of them are free of cost if you cannot afford for paid help. So you can always go forward and talk to people, because you cannot depend always that I'll do everything on my own. You can go and talk to someone, seek help. There's nothing wrong with it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rotarian Akshita Nayak, for giving the details. I'm sure your tips are very, very beneficial for the uh, public at large, all our viewers, as well as all those who are watching today's show. Because what Ms. Akshita Nayak has said is that there are plus and minus points, but she says it's a very, very difficult time, and especially for the psychology of child, the pressure which child is, and for 1 year is already over, more than 1 year now, and again there is no ray of hope or that light in the tunnel. We can't see because the tunnel is increasing day by day. So when this is the situation, it's not easy, even for the mother or for the child. And she has given a very good point earlier. Initially they were very happy that so much opportunity to spend more and more time with the child, which they were not getting earlier, because a child was in school and the mother is for going for the work. But now when they are confined to the home, they were spending good time, quality time with the child. But up to what, so much time has passed. Now it's very, very difficult to come out with new and new topics, new games every day, how to spend time, how to talk, and so many things. So according to Ms. Nayak, in case if anybody feels depression, if he feels that some irritation, which Dr. Singh has also mentioned, they must consult either the psychiatrist or the psychologist. And she, according to Rotarian Nayak, one can even have the helplines which are free of cost, can talk to them and see to it that because once the COVID will be over, at that time, the child and the mother's mental health, physical health should be perfect, so that their life, because the life is long, it's just a temporary phase. We have already passed 1 year, and we hope that this next coming phase should also pass fast. And as Ms. Nayak has mentioned about the vaccination, yes, my advice, personal advice, is to all of you who are above 45, as the government has allowed, please go get vaccinated. Don't go for the myths whatsoever are happening. I'm also going to take today my second dose of vaccination. Today it's fixed. Thank you very much, Mr. Nayak, for
Thank you,
giving
sir.
your such a views. Now we have about 2 minutes each for the question answer thing. My first question goes to Advocate Anita. Advocate Anita, you have mentioned about the government support. Yes, we have seen that there is no support as such from the government side. During the pandemic, they have supported to the MSMEs, they have supported to the migrants, they have supported to many other classes, but there is no specific support for the single parent. Might be a social taboo or something else. What, as an advocate, what you suggest, what government should do, especially now, so that the single parents will not suffer how they are suffering today? Advocate Anita, please. You are mute. Please unmute yourself. Yes, please.
So
Please
I have
go ahead.
earlier mentioned that there are some suggestions which I want to give government, and
Yes.
hopefully my suggestions which I am giving today, it reaches to government so that we get some relief. I mean, of course, 13 million single parents will get relief. I'm not talking about only myself. So I need effective reform of the welfare system to support the most vulnerable families in the immediate and longer term, of course. I want better access to financial support for single parents. Yes, financial support, who have to take time off work to care for children sent home from school or children's settings due to COVID-19. I also want better support for the most vulnerable families to meet the additional costs of lockdown, self isolation, and children being out of school. Government, employers, and businesses to ensure measures to limit the spread of COVID-19 do not unfairly discriminate against single parents. I mean, in just, I would say there is some pension support aid should there to run single parents family, and there is education support should also there for the child, for the single parent child. That is what I would suggest to the government. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms.
Thank you, sir.
Anita, for giving your suggestions. Now I will go to our next panelist, and she is Ms. Kankana Mukherjee. Ms. Kankana Mukherjee, there is a social stigma. Earlier, although you are in a metro, all are educated, but there are many single parents who are not properly educated, or those who are underprivileged. Now, they are pre-COVID, they were working as a maid or as a laborer, but now during the COVID, their work is no more. And in that time, they are getting additional pressure from the society, either for remarriage or to settle with someone, so that they can have their livelihood, because they are hand to mouth, there is no money coming in. So to them, what you think, what should be the solution? Because it is a very big problem, especially to the rural areas or to those areas where the single parents and with no financial support. What you say about this, Ms. Mukherjee?
Well, definitely the stigma is huge, and we cannot deny that we, being as single parents, we have faced this issue in various forms. Like, for instance, we are educated, we are in the cities, and we have our jobs in place, but yet we face a lot of stigmas, and these stigmas can be different kinds. As I said, like, for instance, there are forms in which it is written Shriman or Shrimati. There is no space for MS, which is for us. It becomes difficult. Then we always have to choose. What should I choose? What should I choose? So that is also a stigma. And coming back to the points, like coming back to the roots, as you said, like really the strata of people, wherein their daily wages, their daily workers. I think government penetration, I mean government intervention would really help them if that can be done. But I have my doubts, because most of the cases their marriages are not even registered. So on what basis is the government going to give them? I mean, anybody can fake it. I mean, we are master fakers, isn't it? So I believe that that is a difficult thing, and only the society can help each other. And the family, I mean, the family has to be by each other's side. The family has to be the support. And we as single parents, I believe that it's very important to be human first. And I personally believe on that principle the most, that once we get to know of somebody, we should try our best to help. We should try our best at how good we can do. For instance, the maid that is working in our household, she is quite old, but we took her in. Though she cannot do the work properly, she misses days, but still we do. The reason being, we want to do our bit as much as we can, because she is also a widow. So she is a widow, she doesn't get much support from her children. So what happens is, even those phases are difficult. So we, as I think we just cannot blame on each other. What we can do is, we should take the onus on our end as well, that how best can we help the other person. If we get to know about another single person in the neighborhood, so not just becoming alien to them or shutting our doors, we should go up and help. I mean, even if in the offices you meet somebody whom you get to know as a single parent, I think we can take the first step and say that, yes, I am there to help you out, I am there to, you can reach me out. So see, going to a psychiatrist is a huge task. We have to understand that there is so much stigma associated, that why is somebody going to a psychiatrist? But if you and me, people like us who are in the similar boat, who can just give out a helping hand, I think it can help a lot. I think help and charity begins at home. So we have to start this right from the beginning, right from us, because who else will know our pain than the other people? Because we have experienced that, we are in the same boat. So let's try to help the other person the most. And I, as a woman, uh, this is not anti-feminism, but I feel that we women need to respect the other women the most, and only then can you expect the other gender to do that. We have to introspect ourselves. Do we do that to others? The other woman might be looking very pretty, I might not just go and say that, wow, you're looking very nice today. So we need to inculcate these habits, and only then we can strengthen the other gender, we can strengthen our gender together. So let's do that. And I think once we do from one to another, we are going to build a better future and a better society for all of us. That's what I feel. Though it's like, it's a very holistic thing, but yes, that's what I expect and I hope to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kantna. You have made two very special points. One about the widows. The worst part is, still we have a state called West Bengal. There the custom is, whenever there is a widow in the family, they leave them at Mathura, Vrindavan, or at Kashi. And I had a program on that. I asked this question directly to those panelists who are from the Bole. Yes, we have this tradition. Now, when we cannot change those traditions, how we expect that those single parent or the single woman can survive? Secondly, you have mentioned about the first about the single woman, and second, one more point, important point you have raised. You mentioned in the last, what you have mentioned about that one about the single parent, which the widows, and one more point you have raised, Ms. Kankana. Can you just mention again? Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I wanted to say that we have to come forward. To
Yes.
Yeah.
Now you have mentioned about the ladies have to come forward. I did one program. Title was Beti Paraya Dhan Hoti Hai. When from the childhood, this feeling was given by your own parents that you are not you are somebody else's property. So how you expect, and that feeling is there. One says that psychology from the very beginning, and don't take it otherwise. This thing is from the ladies only. They have more love and affections toward the son, not the daughter. And I made one comment that earlier there was a serial called Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi. Now the serial name should be Ma Bhi Kabhi Beti Thi. They should understand that feeling which you have been inculcated from the very beginning to a child, a girl child, that you are not of this family. And then when you become a single parent, how they are going to react? Your own family will react. Okay, they are from the outside, they will say, no, you are our family. But from inside, I can tell you, they might be feeling bad, because they have a feeling that you are not from their own family. Your brother, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking a general thing. The siblings also are not accepting the single mother in the society, whatsoever advanced and whatsoever educated we are. It's sorry state of the civil society. We can't blame the government or anyone else. Thank you very much, Ms. Kankana. Now I am coming, my question goes to Dr. Deepika Singh. Dr. Deepika Singh, you are seeing the patients, or I will not term the patients, I will say the sufferers, or those who are suffering from you might be seeing from the single parent and from the family, the husband and wife, the spouse with spouse. Which are more and which are more complicated sufferers?
Yeah. Thank you, sir. So yeah, sufferers, everyone is suffering on this earth today. Someone is suffering from COVID, someone is suffering from any other illness. But then obviously the number of patients which we see are more for those as in, both the parents who are coming as compared to single parents. But then complication has to do with the disorder they are suffering. But I somehow feel the coping abilities, the coping strategies and everything, it is more because the support system is more. So for parents who are coming together, both of them, their coping is better. They have additional family members who are supporting them, both sides of the families. While for a single parent, it is usually only the maternal side, or usually the one side as in their own side, which is supporting. The other side, not even supporting, in fact, instigating. In fact, I just wish, they were more compassionate towards the child also, because what if child has some disorder and mother has got the child over here, so they believe that it is the punitive parenting or lack of good parenting that resulted in the disorder. More stigma is obviously associated with psychiatric disorders, but more so because, as in, the way people convey that this has happened because of the parenting mistake. So I think that way the support system is more here, and that is the only difference between the two. Otherwise,
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Singh. Now my last, although I will make one comment. Yes,
yes, sir.
I did one program where the husband says, we are fed up to stay with a wife 24/7, seeing the face. Even the wife is also complaining that we cannot tolerate our husband for 24/7. So in one way, the single parent in the COVID time is also good. So there is a positive news also for the single parents, that at least you have your own life. Otherwise, the spouse will be complaining that it's 24/7 to see the same face, not the new faces. Thank you very much, Dr. Singh. Now going to Ms. Nayak, your advice to single parent, because you are a counselor, so we want your counseling. What, not in lengthy way, but what short advice you want to give to the single parents? Because if the, as you said, the tunnel is getting longer and longer, so what advice you give so that this year or whatsoever time the COVID is there, they can be more in comfort zone? Rotary Nakshita,
Yes. So first of all, single parents, hats off to you, because you are already so brave and you can always do this. Like, you have already done so much. You gotten past, the society, the other pressures and everything, and you are here doing so fantastic already. And this is just 1 year, and you can, hopefully this is just 1 year. Let's see. And we'll get over this as soon as possible. And definitely, the society is there to help you. We are always there, as services or whatever, to help all the people who are there. So I think there's nothing to fear, because we all are in the same boat. So it's not something different. So all of us are sailing the same boat. So it's okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Rotarian Akshita Nayak. So today you have seen the COVID returns impact on single parent, and the views expressed by the single parents as well as the psychiatrist as well as the psychologist. And the views are very, very clear. Somewhere the civil society is lacking. The parents, the families, they are lacking. If someone becomes single or they have decided to stay aloof, it doesn't mean that there is some problem with them. You have to accept it. It's no stigma should be attached with the single parent. And if the civil society will cooperate, and the government should also come forward to see to it that the single parent should also get their dues, because after all, they, as one of the panelists mentioned, even the alimony is not going through right now because of the salary cuts, the job cuts. So when this tough condition is there, everyone, even the civil society and the government, should consider and take up the matter in a way that single parent should not suffer. And it's not the question of single parent. Think of the child. After all, the child is the child. Children are the future of this country. Then if we will not if then who is going to support them? Thank you very much, all our panelists. And today's program has been live telecasted by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV, News Gaon Se, Samvad Sarokar News, as well as it was shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And our endeavor is to bring to you every day new topic, a serious topic. But tomorrow is Sunday, and Sunday is our entertainment day. But tomorrow we are coming out with a unique thing. There's a fusion between music and magic. Yes, you are right, correctly heard. Musical magic will be there, and there are two people. One is a Mr. Harsh Juneja. He's advisor of project CSEA, management consultant, musician, president of CVA Delhi. He is going to play on the instrument, different instruments, the old time Bollywood songs, and as well as Mr. Anant Mall. He's BTech MBA, is a professional illusionist and mentalist from Bhopal. He's joining. He's going to show some tricks, magic tricks. So basically, it's a fusion of music as well as magic. Please tune in tomorrow at media conference with Lal Goel at 10:30 a.m. Thank you very much, Advocate Anita. Thank you very much, Ms. Kankana Mukherjee. Thank you very much, Dr. Deepika Singh. And thank you very much, Rotarian Akshata Nayak, for joining and giving your such a first-hand views. I'm sure today's our media conference is enriched by your views. Thank you, all the viewers, for joining us. Thank you very much.